Hello, this is Dr. Ben Sise, and this is Urban Biology, home of effective high school biology teaching. Okay, listen, before you start watching this video, I would strongly suggest that you get yourself a box of colored pencils, that you get yourself a pen, that you get yourself pencils, and of course, you need a notebook. Why is that so? Because this video and all of my videos is an interactive biology teaching tool. My goal for all my videos is for you to do very well in all your biology classes, okay? But especially on the end of course test, which is given by just about every single state in the continental United States of America. Listen, I guarantee you, if you follow my teaching strategy and do what I ask you to do, guys, you will never fail the end of course test. Okay, so are you ready? I am ready, and I hope you are ready. Okay, so what's the goal for today? The goal for this video that you're about to watch is to learn and gain an understanding about biochemistry. That's your goal. So think about it. All right, so you're watching the video. So why are you watching the video for? So you can understand and you can learn. First of all, you have to learn, and then when you learn, gain that understanding. Gain understanding about what? Biochemistry. All right, so that is the goal. All right, so what is biochemistry? Notice that for biochemistry, I have taken that one word, biochemistry, and split it in two. Okay, oh, notice also at the bottom of the screen you have two arrows. Okay, so those two arrows are to give you a hint about what the definition for biochemistry is. Okay, are you ready? All right, now look at the word biochemistry. Into how many words can I split biochemistry? Yeah, two words. I mean, you know it's two words because they are color coded. All right, one is in red and the other one is in green. Okay, so tell me guys, tell me. Anytime you hear the word bio, what comes to mind? Think. Anytime you hear the word bio, what comes to mind? Yes, living things, all right. And of course, chemistry are chemicals. So chemistry deals with chemicals, all right? So look at this first arrow. First of all, let's look at the script I have written on here. It says your goal for this video is to learn about two important what? Chemical. Okay, to learn about two important chemical compounds. Notice chemical compound is written in red. Okay, and how they are needed by what? Living things. Notice living things is also written in red. So when you read these complete sentences, what are the key words in these sentences? Think about it. What do you think are the key words are? Yeah, the key words are what? Chemical compound, that's one, two key words, and then you have living things, that's another key word. Okay, so concentrate on those two words, chemical compounds and living things. Okay, so how many do I have highlighted? 1 and 2, chemical compounds and living things. Okay, all right, now let's go to the arrow. The arrow is going to more or less give you a hint about what we mean by biochemistry. Okay, let's go and see what it says. Okay, here we go. Okay, living things. Okay, look at the word living things. Anytime you hear the word living things, what comes to mind? Bio. So living things means bio. That's the living part of the script I just gave you prior to these arrows. So living things means bio. So anytime you see the word bio or the prefix bio, it means living things. Okay, all right, the next is chemicals. Chemicals, obviously it is, look, the words almost rhyme. Chemicals, chemistry. All right, so now this is what I want you to do. This is what I want you to do. Think. I want you to take the words to the left of the arrow and put it together and see if you can come up with a working definition for biochemistry. Okay, so take the words to the left, try to combine it together to see if you can tell me what the working definition for biochemistry is. What's the working definition for biochemistry? Think about it. Think. All right. Very good. I heard some of you give me a very good definition for biochemistry. Okay, so what is the working definition for biochemistry? The working definition for biochemistry is a branch of biology. Yes, guys, biochemistry is a branch of biology. How do we know that? Because it says bio. Remember what I just told you? Anytime you hear the word bio, it means living things. Okay, so biochemistry is a branch of biology that teaches how living things uses chemicals. How living things, bio, uses chemicals for their what? For their everyday function. So that is biochemistry. All right. Okay. Now we know what the working definition for our biochemistry is. The next question is, who are these chemical compounds? So let's talk about the chemical compound, because remember what the goal is. The goal is to try to understand how living things use chemicals. But I like to know what those chemicals are. Okay? So what are those chemicals? Listen, it doesn't matter where you go. Whether in Africa, whether in Asia, whether in Europe, whether in America, it doesn't matter where you go. Every single organic compound can be placed in one of two groups. You got me? Every single compound. Okay, we're talking about what? Chemical compounds. Every single chemical compound can be placed in one or two groups. All right, can you guess what you think those two groups are? Now, I guarantee you, if I give you one of those groups, most of you will know what the other group is. Okay, are you ready? Here we go. Inorganic. Got it? Inorganic. All right. So inorganic is one of the groups of chemical compounds that you need, living things need. What do you think the other group is? Bingo! Yeah, you're so smart. Exactly right. So the other group is organic compound. All right. So we have the inorganic compound and the organic compound that me and you and all living things need. Okay. So the next question now is, well, wait a minute. If I have organic compound and have inorganic compound, so how are they different? How is inorganic compound different from organic compound? If I give you a list of compounds and I ask you to select which one is the organic compound or which one is the inorganic compound, would you be able to tell? Okay. Now let's go. Let's see if we can find out what the difference is between organic and inorganic compound. Okay, what you see I have on the board now are called elements. Okay, so these are elements. Elements are structures you need to build compounds. Everyone got me? Let me repeat that again. Elements are structures that you need to build compounds. However, when you're using these elements to build compounds, the elements are not combined the same way in organic as they would in inorganic. So the elements, the main elements, there are some other elements, but the main elements I want you to concentrate on, that I think you need to know for your state test and also for your classes, are these three important elements. All right. Now notice for these three important elements, I have highlighted the key letters in each of them. The first name is called carbon, but I have highlighted the letter C. The second one is hydrogen, and I have highlighted the letter H. And the third one is oxygen, and I've highlighted the letter O. So for me to understand the three names easily, I simply call it CHO, C-H-O, CHO. Okay, so these are the three important elements that organic or inorganic need in order to build their compounds. Okay, let me repeat that again. Why are elements important? They are important because they can be used to build either organic compounds or they can build inorganic compounds. However, how the elements are combined are different in organic from inorganic. Okay, all right. So now let's see how they're different. Okay, first let's look at organic. Okay, in organic compounds, when the CHO, remember the CHO, the three, there are other elements, but pay attention to only the three for right now. Okay, In organic compounds, the C, which is carbon, and the H, which is hydrogen, are always close to each other or attached to each other by a bond. Okay? So the carbon or the C is always, it always comes first, preceded by the H. So in all organic compounds, you have the C first and then the H. All right? Not the H first and then the C, but the C first and then the H. So the carbon, the hydrogen is attached to the carbon. In inorganic, it does not happen that way. In inorganic, if you have a C and H, the H always comes first, not the C. All right? And most of the inorganic do not have the C, H, O, or three of them. Most of them have either one, they can have either oxygen or O, or they can have hydrogen or H. But most time, they don't have all three combinations at all. Okay, let me repeat that, just to make sure we are sure of what I am trying to explain over here. All right? How do we know what is the difference between organic and inorganic? First, in organic compounds, the carbon is attached to the hydrogen. They are bonded together by a chemical bond. So you have the C and then you have the H. In inorganic, you don't have the C first. You can have either a C or an H, but you don't have the C and H combined. Or you can have the H and the C. The H comes first and then the C comes second. That is inorganic. All right? Now, let's see if you understand what we're talking about. Now, let's look at the examples I have depicted down at the bottom here. Are you able to tell which one is organic and which one is inorganic? Let's look at the first one. The first one says HCl. Is that organic or is that inorganic? You're right. It is inorganic. Even though it has a H and a C, it is inorganic. Why? Because the H comes before the C. That is an acid, hydrochloric acid. Hydrochloric acid is not organic, it is inorganic. Again, why? Because the C is not before the H. The H comes before the C. That's why it's organic. How about the second one, H2O? Guess what is missing? The carbon. All right? All organic compounds have carbon. They are carbon compounds. No carbon here. All you see is just the H. So, out you go. You are not organic compound. How about the CH4? How many fish that's inorganic? How many fish that's organic? How many if you don't know? How many if you don't care? All right. So the C comes before the H, so therefore that is organic compound. All right. This also is organic because you get the C. Forget about the numbers. The numbers are just telling you how many do you need in order to make the right compound. Okay. So for this compound, you're going to need six of the C, 12 of the H, and then 6 of the O. So this is also organic. Why? Because here the C comes before the H. And of course, that one there automatically is oxygen, and that is inorganic. Okay, now inorganic compounds. There are several types of inorganic compounds. Okay, but listen to me. I've been doing this for the past 20 or more years, so you got to listen very carefully. The 3 most important inorganic compounds that you would be tested on in your class or in a state mandated test would be water. Water is inorganic. Okay. The second one that you're going to be tested on would be acid and base. Water, acid, and base are inorganic. Now, the best way I try to remember all 3 of them, I use the acronym WAB, W-A-B. Okay, water, acid, and base. WAB, W-A-B. Water, acid, and base. So those are the 3 main inorganic compounds that you should concentrate on. Okay. Okay. Now, why are they important? Earlier in this video, I told you that the goal for biochemistry is to learn about how living things also use chemicals. Obviously, if we're using water as a chemical, water has to be important. If we're using acid as a chemical, acid has to be important to us, living things, and also the same goes for a base. But how is water important? Okay, let's look at water first and try to ascertain why water is important to all living things. First, right off the bat, 75% of your body made up of water. Think about it. I mean, why would you have so much water in your body if it's not important? Duh! You get me? So if your body is made up of 75% of water, it is important. I'm going to give you two reasons why it is important. Number one reason is water is an excellent solvent. Solvent. Listen, if I have a cup of water right now in my hand, and I have salt or sugar, and I take that sugar and put it in the right amount of water, and I mix it up, guess what? You will not see the sugar anymore. The sugar has disappeared. Now you have what we call a solution. Okay? And the inorganic compound that can cause most of the substances we eat disappear in the liquid, that's water. So that's why water is an excellent solvent, is that just about everything can dissolve in the water. But I know some of you say, wait a minute, Dr. Sisi. But still, why is water important? Now listen to this. When you eat food, right? Where does the food go? You take, for instance, an apple, you put it in your mouth, that's the first, okay? That's the first mechanical digestion. Then that food is going to go through your esophagus or your food pipe, and then it goes to the stomach. Now, all that food is in the stomach right now. Your stomach is happy, happy, happy. But your toe is not. Your toe needs that food. Your finger needs that food. Your eye needs that food. Your head needs that food. Every different part of your body needs that food. So we have to find a way to distribute that food to all parts of your body. That's when water comes in. Okay? Most of your blood is made up of water. So what happened is the apple that we just ate, it's going to be broken down in smaller pieces, and then they're going to disappear in the water that's in the blood, and now the blood going to travel through your blood vessels. And as the blood travels through the blood vessels, it distributes the food to different parts of the tissues of the cells in your body. Okay, so that's why, again, water is important. Why? Because water takes different types of food to all parts of your body. With help of the heart, and of course the heart gonna pump it. As the heart pulsate, the blood moves. Okay, so that's as the second reason why water is important. The third reason why water is important is that water has a high heat capacity. Very, very important. Now let me try to break this down so you can understand it. Okay, I'm gonna give you a cup of oil, cooking oil. 8 ounces, let's say 8 ounces of cooking oil. Then I'm going to give you water also, 8 ounces of water also. And you're going to put the water, 8 ounces of oil and 8 ounces of water on in a pot under the same amount of heat. On your marks, get set, go. Which of those two do you think will get hot first? No, not the water. Believe it or not, the water. You try it at home with, obviously, with your parents says okay for you to do that. But if you take the same amount of oil and the same amount of water, put it under the same temperature, guess what? The oil will be the first one to get hot real fast. The molecules in water, when you hit the water, first that heat is going to go inside the molecules of the water, and then after that the molecules in the water are going to start moving. It's going to generate heat. Then the water will begin to get warmer and warmer and warmer and warmer until it gets hot and then starts to evaporate. So in other words, what am I saying? It takes a long time for water to get heat up. When you go to the ocean, the temperature is 90 something degrees, yet when you dip in that water, the water is still cold. I mean, not as cold, but it's still cold. It's colder than the outside temperature. All right? Why is that so? Because it takes a lot of heat in order to get water to change from the liquid state to the vapor state. Okay, give you another example. Let's say the temperature outside is, let's say, about 100 degrees. Your normal temperature is 98.6. If you don't have water in you and you're walking outside, your temperature will go up. I mean, it will shoot up. I'm not exaggerating. If, let's say, for instance, replace every single water in your body with oil, and you're out there when the temperature is 90 something degrees, your body temperature will just shoot up. Okay. However, because you have water in you and you're outside when the temperature is like 100 degrees, your body, the water that's in your body, help maintains that body temperature of 98.6. So water helps to regulate your body temperature. That's why also water is important. Okay. All right. Now let's go to the acid and base. Now for the acid and base, we're going to combine them. We're going to combine those two together and give it one name, and that name is pH. So you take the acid, you take the base, combine it together, and just give it one name, and that name is called what? The pH. All right. The pH can be numbered on a scale from 1 to 14. Now we call it the pH scale. That's why you see those numbers there. For acid, the number on the pH scale always range from 1 to 6. That's it. For base, the number always range from 8 to 14. That's it. Which number did I just leave out? Help me out. Which number did I leave out? You go from 1 to 6 and then 8 to 14. Which number is out? You are correct. 7 is out. You know what 7 is saying? It said, listen, let me out of this. I don't want to be an acid. I don't want to be a base. Now, if you guys want to be an acid, 8 and 14 want to be an acid, fine, go ahead. I mean, do your thing. 1 to 6, you want to be an acid, you too, do your thing. But me, no. I don't want to be an acid. I don't want to be a base. So 7 is neutral. Okay? Now, let's go to the acid part. I said earlier that 1 is an acid and 6 is an acid. Guess what? 1 is the bully. 6 is the one that's kind of weak. You know why 1 is the bully? Because it's the strongest acid. And do you know why it's the strongest acid? Listen carefully. The reason why 1 is the strongest acid, because it's far away from 7. So the farther away you are from 7, the stronger you are. So number 1 is a bully and number 6 is weak. Why? Because it's closer to water. Tell me, which number in base is the strongest base? You got it, girl? Oh, I'm sorry, guy. I'm sorry. You said it. Good job. You got it. The strongest base is 14. Why? Tell me why. Why do you think 14 is the strongest base? Very good. Because it's farther away from the water. Exactly right. Okay. All right. Now, we already know now why water is important. We already know why pH, acid and base, is important. Okay. Now let's go quickly to why they are important in living things. pH. We already talked about why water is important, right? As far as pH, acid and base, I just told you the numbers. But now let's learn about why they are important for living things. Okay. First of all, this is the pH scale. All right. That's the pH scale. The pH scale, like I said earlier, goes from 1 to 14. Right? From 1 to 14, the pH scale. And of course, at the end of the scale is 14. That's the base. At the end of the scale, the beginning of the scale is 1. Right in the middle, you have the number 7, which is the neutral. Okay. Mostly that's where you find water and salt. Neutral, water and salt. Okay. Now, so why is pH important? Listen, guys. Let's assume you are a baker. That's your business. That's how you make your money. That's how you get your money. Okay. You bake cake. You bake bread. You bake cookies. All right. That's what you do for your living. Let's assume you're baking the bread. The temperature calls for that bread to be baked within a certain period of time for, let's say, 100 degrees. Just give another temperature right now. Let's say you have to bake that bread for, let's say, 30 minutes at 100 degrees. That's the right temperature. That's when you're going to produce a delicious bread. Okay, now let's assume you are not looking, and all of a sudden that temperature went from 100 to 150. So 30 minutes later, which is the usual time that the bread should be baked, now you come to the oven. Would you have a real nice baked bread if the temperature went from 100 to 150? The answer is no. That bread will be damaged. Why? Because that is not the environment for producing a nice looking, crispy looking baked bread. No. What I have just explained is how pH works. Your cells love pH. Okay? Most of all of the chemical reactions that are taking place in your body, remember, chemical reactions, the chemicals in your body, we make and break. We're going to talk about that later on. But all of the chemical reactions taking place in your body are always behaving in different environments. And each environment has their own pH in which the cells can work effectively. All right? If that environment is not conducive to that cell will die. Okay? So, give you a typical example. For instance, my stomach. The acid in my stomach, or the pH in my stomach, is 1. The cells in my stomach love it. That's when they can act or behave properly. All right? Why is that so? Because the pH 1 is what they like. However, the food in my stomach, once it leaves the stomach and enters the small intestine, now it is going to a different environment, and the ball game changes. Okay, so inside your stomach, the pH is not 1 like it was. Inside the intestine, the pH is not 1 as it was inside the stomach. Okay, so if the pH for whatever reason now it's more than if the pH in the intestine now is 1, that cell is not going to behave correctly. Why? Because the pH in the intestine is too low. Some cells don't like that. Okay, listen, the temperature you bake bread will not be the same temperature that you bake your cookies. They're different temperatures. Okay, it's the same thing with your cells all over your body. They behave differently in different environments. Okay, so that is one reason why the pH is important. So here it says what the correct pH is needed for cells to do their jobs efficiently. I just explained that. All right. Okay, let's go to the next one. Now, cells are secreting pH, acid or base. But also, guess what? You too, when you can ingest or take in food that are high in either a base or high in acid. Okay? So if all of a sudden your body has too much acid now, remember I told you earlier that if your body has too much acid and the cell can no longer operate in that environment, that cell will die. However, there is a mechanism in your body that regulates the pH, and that mechanism is called the buffer system. So what the buffer system does is, if your acid is too low, like a 1 or 2, in an environment where it should be like 3, okay, then what the buffer does is it comes in there and brings that acid back down to where it's supposed to be. If the pH is too high, it comes in and lowers that pH. If the pH is too low, it comes in and raise up the pH. Okay, so what the buffers do, this is what you need to understand. Buffers regulate the pH to maintain homeostasis. Now, I'm sure most of you know what homeostasis is. Homeostasis means the internal conditions inside your body must always remain the same. Okay? Everyone get that? So that's why acid and bases are important. Important for all chemical reactions, but the environment has to be right. And 2, if the pH is too high or too low, we have a buffer system that can come in there and regulate. Okay? All right. So next, what we're going to next, human pH. I think I've explained it before. I'm not sure whether I did or not. Come on, let's go. Okay, human pH. and I apologize for this. There we go. Here we go. Okay, human pH, blood, the blood now, not other parts of the body, specifically the blood. The human pH for the blood is anywhere from 7.35 to 7.45. Remember, that is a range. It's not saying that, okay, your blood is 7.3, so if you're 7.45, that's going to be bad. No, you have a slight variation, which is okay. But the variation is too high, that's when problem comes. Okay, so your blood, where you have your red blood cell, where you have your white blood cell, where you have your platelets, boy, they love that environment when the pH is between that range, 7.35 and 7.45. But if it goes beyond that, let's say for instance now it's about 8 or 9, that's a problem, big problem. Okay. All right, good job. I think everyone is doing very well. Everyone is doing great so far. Okay. All right, so let's continue now. That's all that you need to know for inorganic. So briefly, before we go any further, let us quickly review inorganic. First, we said inorganic compounds do not have the C first and the H. No. Carbon is always after the H if that inorganic compound has the H and the C. Like for instance, hydrochloric acid has the H and the C, but the H always comes first. Don't forget that. And we also said for our inorganic, there are 3 important types. We have water, we have acid, help me out, base. Good job. What if I want to give acid and base just one name? What would be that name? You get it? That's a pH. Okay. Who is the bully acid and why? You are right. 1 is the bully acid, and the reason why 1 is the bully acid because it is farther away from the 7. The farther you are away from 7, the stronger it is, and 14 obviously will be the strongest base because it is too far away from the water. All right, then after that we'll talk about why water is important. Can anyone give me any reason why water is important? You got it. I'm sure that's one that most of you have been taught since middle school or elementary school. Most of you, about 75% of your body, almost 75% of your body is made up of water. Okay, so water is important because you have a whole lot of it. Water is also important because it has a high heat capacity. It takes a lot of energy just to cause the molecules in the water to start vibrating and generating heat. And we also said water is important because it is an excellent solvent. Okay. All right, so now we go to the organic compound. Okay, organic compound. They are compounds made by living things. Try to know that. Okay, organic compounds are compounds that are made by living things. Why can I say that? How do I know organic compounds are made by living things? Most of you should have heard the word photosynthesis. Photosynthesis. Photosynthesis is the process used by photosynthetic organisms like plants and algae to take inorganic compound from the air like carbon dioxide and combine it with inorganic compound from the ground, water. So they combine carbon dioxide and water. Both are inorganic. They are not organic. Let me repeat that again. Plants and algae, they are photosynthetic organisms. So what they do, they take water and they take carbon dioxide. Both are inorganic. Water and carbon dioxide are inorganic. All right, because they don't have the C and the H combined. And if they have the C, it's all by itself. There's no H beside it. So they take inorganic compounds, combine it together, and once they combine inorganic and carbon dioxide together through the actions of enzymes and other activities, it produces organic compound. That organic compound is called glucose. So that's why we can emphatically say that organic compounds are made by living things. Example, plants during photosynthesis produces organic compound called glucose. All right, so try to remember that. Okay, example, carbohydrates made by plants. Now glucose is a carbohydrate, and that would be another topic another lesson for another video later on. Okay. All right. So organic compounds. What else? Okay, organic compounds. There are 6 main elements in organic compounds. Now there are other elements, but the main elements that your state will require you to know are the 6 important elements. And I give them an acronym CHOPSN. All right, CHOPSN. CHOPSN, all capital letters. And because they're capital letters, which means each of those letters stand for a word. Okay, so the first letter is carbon, C, carbon. Then it has hydrogen, oxygen, phosphorus, sulfur, nitrogen. Okay, so those are the 6 main elements found in organic compounds. Okay, those are the 6 main elements found in organic compound: carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, phosphorus, sulfur, nitrogen, or CHOPSN. So you can use an acronym and just call it CHOPSN. Okay, where is it? CHOPSN. Okay, not chopstick, all right, but CHOPSN. Okay, not chopstick, but CHOPSN. See, all are capital letters. Okay, so that's an acronym for the 6 important ones. Now, if I ask you what's the main one, is carbon. That is why organic compounds are also called carbon compounds, because all of them have carbon. All of them must have carbon. They don't have carbon, they're not organic. So try to remember that. It's not on this. It's not on the writings that I'm giving you right now, but I'm just vocally saying it, and hopefully if you see that on the end of course test or in your class, you should know. Okay, so organic compounds are the carbon compounds. All right, so carbon is the main elements to which elements are bonded. So that's the number 1 element right there. Okay, and the reason why carbon is the main element also because carbon has the ability, unlike other elements, to form 4 bonds with other elements. No element can do that. Only carbon has that ability to do that, to take 4 of the elements and bond them together to itself. All right, so carbon is very unique. Okay, now organic compound sizes. Yes, organic compounds are in sizes. Now look on the board and tell me, how many sizes do you think are there for organic compounds? You're right. How do you know how many sizes are there? Look guys, come on, you don't have to be a nuclear physicist for you to know that. I have only 2 arrows. So because I have 2 arrows, there are only 2 sizes of organic compounds. The 2 of the sizes are I'm not sure whether you can see this, whether you can see it from the video or not, but they are highlighted in purple. The ones that are highlighted in purple, that's their first name. So these 2 are brothers. How do I know they're brothers? Well, both have the same last name. The last name is Mers, M-E-R-S. Okay. However, the first names are different. Just like you and your brother, your first names are different. Okay. This one here, you cannot see it, so I'm going to spell it out. It says P-O-L-Y. P-O-L-Y. So that is poly for this first one. Okay, that's P-O-L-Y. Now, the second one is M-O-N-O. That's mono. So we have 2 brothers, and both of these brothers make up all the sizes of organic compounds. Okay, one brother name is polymer. Another brother name is monomer. Look at those 2 words carefully and tell me, which one do you think is the biggest and why? You are correct. The polymer is the biggest. Why? Poly means many, several. Okay, and mono means one or simple. So mono is simple or one. So mono is the smaller size. Okay, and poly is the bigger size. All right, so here we go. So complex or large organic molecules are the polymers. So you can call them complex, and the reason why you can call them complex is because they are made up of more than one, whatever you make it. Okay, and these are called monomer. Why? Because they're made up of just one or one of whatever you are breaking down to. Okay, so polymer means several units combined together, and monomer means just one unit. Okay, so to make polymer, you're going to need monomer. You cannot make something big until you start with something small. Okay? So to make polymer, you always have to start with monomer. All right? Okay, let's look at this. What? That's too fast. Okay, let's look at this example right here. There's a typical example for you to see what the difference is between monomer and polymer. As you can see in these boxes right here, they are all by themselves because you have a plus in between them. All right, and because they have a plus in between them, which means they are monomer or simple. Now, when you combine all those boxes together, you end up with one big light box. So this big light box now is a polymer. Why? Because it's made up of several smaller units. Try not to forget that. This is going to be crucial, especially when we start talking about individual organic compounds. Because you need to know the monomer, you need to know the polymer. So just again, let me just reiterate. So when I use the word polymer, it means smaller units combined together to make something big. And monomer means you're only using one. Okay? Okay, now, they are big. Listen, apple is a food that you need. Your cell cannot use apple in that form because it's too big. You got me? So in order for that apple, the apple ingredients, the nutrients that are in the apple to get inside the cell, they must be small enough to go through the cell membrane of the cell in order for that cell to use it. If they're too big, your cell can't use it. So what do we have to do to make sure that the nutrients in that apple gets inside the cell? You cannot see cell with your naked eye, so you know it's very, very small. Okay? So you got to break the nutrients inside the apple small enough to get inside the cell membrane. That's the circle or the membrane that surrounds the cell. Okay, that allows materials to go in and some materials not to go in. Okay, so the cell membrane is going to select what goes in, or it select whatever it needs to go in. However, for things to go in and out, they must be small enough to go through the pores of the cell membrane. Sometimes they get help, but I'm not going to talk about it in detail right now. All you need to know for right now is if you're eating an apple, you have to break that apple small enough to get inside the cell. How do we do it? By a process called hydrolysis. Okay? So, hydrolysis breaks. Once hydrolysis breaks and is inside the cell, then you put back together or you make. Okay? So, in other words, as you can see right here, how to make and break organic compounds. So, you can make and break. Come on now. Make and break. Sing with me. Make and break. Come on now. Make and break. So guess what? You're making and you're breaking, making and breaking, making and breaking. That's the chemical activity taking place in you right now. As you're sitting there using your cell phone, as you're sitting there playing with your iPad, or just watching television, you have all this chemical reaction taking place in your body. And two things are taking place. The cells are making and the cells are, say it, yes. The cells are what? And the cells are what? Yeah, the cells are making and breaking. Come on, make and break. Come on. So hydrolysis is the one that breaks. Okay, how do I know? Take an apple, put it in your mouth. Before you put that apple in your mouth, that apple is dry. After a while, guess what? When you start chewing, it starts getting wet. Okay, that is enzymes and some other chemicals that have been secreted by your salivary glands, including water, a lot of water in it, to help you digest that apple. All right. So in order to break large molecules to small molecules, hydrolysis. So guess what? Digestion is an example of hydrolysis, because digestion is breaking down those molecules into smaller parts. Okay. So that's what digestion is. So the important thing you need to know for digestion, is that water is added. Okay, for digestion, water is added. All right. So for digestion, water is added to break large organic molecules. Okay, so it goes from big to small. You have to add water. All right. So water is added to break large organic molecules to small organic molecules. Example would be what? Digestion of a food. Digestion means you're breaking food down into smaller parts. Yeah, in your mouth, that's where digestion begins. That we call mechanical digestion. But once you go to the stomach, you start, well, there's some chemical activity taking place in your mouth as well. Okay, but most of it takes place in your small intestine and the stomach. Okay, they start to break that food down a little bit more. They got to keep acting on it, breaking down a little bit more, so your cell will be able to use it. Okay. Okay, so look at this typical example of hydrolysis. I'll call this stop signs, so you can better understand. These are stop signs. Okay, so these stop signs are actually called glucose molecule. One stop sign is simple, monomer. If you have two or more, now you're getting a polymer. Even though two can technically be called a di or whether dipeptide, disaccharide, or whatever you make it. But in this case, we're going to say it's a polymer because it is more than one. Okay, so look over here. You will notice that it is joined right there by the O. They are joined. You see the legs? Both legs are joined together with this O, which is the oxygen. So because these two stop signs are joining, so we say this is large or a polymer. Now, what are we adding to it? Water. I hope that water is visible in the video, but this water, H2O, you add the water. Now, look what happens when you add the water. Bingo! The legs are gone. The legs are attached. The legs are gone. The legs are attached. The legs are gone. In place of where the legs used to be, now you have a plus. So when you have a plus, you know now you're adding two simple. In this case, you're adding one stop sign to another stop sign. Okay, so this process is called hydrolysis. Why is this process called hydrolysis? Because it is using water to break large molecule into simple molecule. All right. Okay, let's go to the next one, which is called dehydration or condensation. Most of you know what dehydration means. If I say you're dehydrated, it means you're losing water. Condensation is like cloud. Okay, when that cloud rises, because gravity cannot pull it down, it's light enough to keep going up into the atmosphere. When it gets to a point where it's cooler, that water vapor is going to condense or is going to change back to water droplets. Okay, so dehydration means you're going to change, you're going to remove water. Just like water droplets are removed from the cloud. All right, so what's dehydration? Is loss of water. You're losing water. Water is coming out. It's the same as condensation. Condensation also means you're losing water. All right. So let's see what happens here. So water is removed to combine small. Now remember, to go from large to small, you add. To go from small to large, you remove. All right. That's easy concept for you to understand. Okay. So in order to go from small molecule to large molecule, you have to what? You have to remove water. In order to go from large molecules to small molecules, you have to add water. All right? Okay, so let's look at this example again. The same example I gave you before. Is this a monomer? Yes or no? Is this a monomer? Yes or no? Yes. How do you know it's a monomer? Because it is all one stop sign by itself. And that stop sign, like I said earlier, is glucose. I don't want to get you too confused. Okay, so let's just call it a stop sign so you can better understand it. Later on in my other videos, I will actually give you the name for them. So in this case, we're adding two stop signs. So when you add two stop signs, look what is happening. Water is coming out. See the arrow going down? It means you're removing the water. And that's when you remove the water, that's the product. So this arrow is telling you what the product is. Now they are joined together by a bond. Okay, that bond is called the glycosidic bond. Glyco means, carbohydrate or sugar. So the bond that holds glucose or two of these stop signs together is called the glycosidic bond. Okay, all right, good. I think we're doing very well. So now we are ready for review. So ready for review, just to see how well you understand the topic. Remember, guys, my goal is for you to do very well in the end of course test. And if by adventure you do very well in the end of course test, please shoot me. You can go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel and let me know how you did. Okay, all right, here we go. Now it's still a little bit, there you go. First is what is biochemistry. Okay, remember we said biochemistry is still not clear. I don't know why. Biochemistry simply means how living things use chemical to support their everyday life. Okay, you have to put chemicals in your body. Those chemicals you put in your body, okay, can be organic chemical or inorganic chemical, but your body needs them in order for you to build your bones, in order for you to build your flesh, in order for you to build the different parts of your body. Those two compounds are very crucial. But also we know that in order to build the compounds, you need elements. Elements are like, let's say you want to build a brick house, the brick that you use will be the element. Why? Because you're using the brick to build a brick house. Okay, so the elements are like a brick that you use to build the parts of your body, because they need all those elements. One of the most important elements some of you are familiar with is calcium, that we said are used to build your teeth and your bones. Okay, so that's an element, but you need it, but you got to put it in you through digesting milk and other products. And also we'll talk about organic compounds. How are they different from inorganic? There are two. I'm not sure how many of you caught that or not. Number one, the C and the H, they're together, that's organic. Number two, organic compounds made by living things. Okay, not inorganic, organic, made by living things. I gave you an example of a plant combining carbon dioxide and water to make glucose. So organic compounds, are the carbon compounds and capable of making organic compound. And next one is, what are the three examples of inorganic? That's the WAB, W-A-B, that's water, acid, and base. And the next one is, what are the 6 elements common to all organic compounds? Do you remember the chopsine? Chopsine, not chopstick, but chopsine, C-H-O-P-S-N. So those are the 4 organic compounds, but the main one from those 6, not 4, the main one from those 6 organic compounds is carbon. All right. And last but not least is, what are the 2 sizes of organic compounds? We said the 2 sizes can be a polymer or can be a monomer. Which one is the big brother? That's right, polymer is the big brother, and of course the monomer is the little brother. Okay, and then we say, what are the 2 ways for making and breaking? I gave you that song, make and break. Come on now, make and break. Come on, make and break. So how do we make and break? We use what we call condensation or dehydration, and we use hydrolysis. Okay guys, I hope you have fun watching this video, and if you have any question, please go to my video channel and you can put your questions there, and I will try to answer those questions as much as I can. Okay, thank you for coming to this video and watching this video. Please spread the word. This is an interactive biology teaching tool for you to do well in your biology classes as well as on your end of course test. I'll see you guys later. Bye.